In this video today, we're going to talk about a big problem that is going on in the CS2 markets right now, and it has been affecting me in a decent way firsthand, but I know it's affecting a lot of people right now, and it's a big change that the CS2 markets are going through right now that is going to take some time to get through. It's going to take some growing pains, and I hope eventually with this video to be able to create some awareness and maybe help alleviate this problem a little bit, but also just to talk about a big issue, like I said, that's going on in the CS2 community right now, and hopefully also be able to help you guys out to figure out how to navigate this whole thing in this whole situation. But of course, first, as always, just want to mention real quick that if you are looking to sell any of your CS2 items and turn them into cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment method, you should definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. I'm buying pretty much anything and everything for the right price. We've had a lot of cool pickups lately, like some Antwerp capsules, some Antwerp stickers, an AK-47 case hardened DreamHack craft, a red tip butter knife marble fade, all kinds of cool stuff. We haven't been getting as many deals done lately, but it's going to be partly due to what I'm going to talk about in this video today, but always looking to buy. And of course, by selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, my content, and giving yourself an opportunity to cash out safely, effectively, and efficiently. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. So what this has to do with here is this guy's tweet. And there's a ton of tweets like this. Is just the one that's selected. I've seen Reddit posts, I've seen Discord, everything. People talking about why Buff 163 is kind of inflated now compared to other marketplaces. And this was May 15th. This is exactly a month ago, but things have not changed. But this has been cropping up really for the last couple of months. I think kind of early 2024, maybe even in 2023. I don't know. I wasn't as involved in Buff. I got Buff access earlier this year, and then I started getting more involved, being able to see the marketplaces and stuff. And yeah, at some point, Buff prices started going up and float prices started going down, or the prices started, shifting away from each other. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but this has also led to a lot of people not really knowing how much their items are worth anymore, not really knowing how to value their inventories anymore. And I've seen this firsthand because obviously I'm a cash trader. I try to buy items from people all the time. People try to sell me items all the time. And throughout my history, you get people every once in a while who want to call you a shark or call me a scammer or say that my rates are too low or that I'm ripping people off by buying them for XYZ or whatever. And that's totally fine. And truth be told, I've never really had that big of an issue with it. I haven't had that many people who've been that rude or insulting or whatever. Most of the time, it's just I give people the offer, or they give me the offer. We either say yes or no. We either come to an agreement or we don't, and we go on our way, and it's fine. And I've had a ton of repeat customers. I've had a ton of customers that are fine with my rates, or are happy with my rates, or are happy with my consistency, or the service I provide, or the reliability I have, because I always have funds, and I'm always going to be in this game, and I'm always going to have money to buy their stuff. But also at the end of the day, my rates are my rates. I've never said I'm going to offer the best rates or the best price or anything like that, and I don't even want to offer the best rates or the best prices. I want to offer sustainable rates and prices. I want to offer rates and prices that I feel are worth my time and my risk tolerance. Because guess what? I've done deals. I've done cash trades with people where I have literally lost money. Some of them I've lost hundreds. Some of them I've maybe even lost close to 4 figures. And that might sound insane, but guess what? The market moves up and down. And just because I buy something at what seems like a good price at the time doesn't mean the market can't move up or down very, very fast. And that is part of the risk that I'm taking on as a cash trader, buying stuff from you. And I'm giving you the opportunity to instantly cash out at that price. And you can tell me, hey, you want to go to XYZ cash trader who's giving you a better offer, or you're going to sell it on whatever site or whatever. And I've had people do that. And guess what? Sometimes people come back to you and they say, oh, damn, this person scammed me because, hey, sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And then also some people will try to put their stuff up on websites instead. And then again, in the meantime, the market moves and they end up getting a lower price than they could have if they just would have sold to me originally. Also, there are a ton of cash traders out there who try to undercut everyone else and blah, 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 blah. And again, that's not sustainable. The people trying to make little tiny margins, yeah, they're giving you a good deal today, but they're not even going to exist a month from now or 2 months from now or 3 months from now or whatever. Again, I'm doing stuff that's worth my time because this isn't the only thing that I do with my money. I have a life to live. I have stuff I enjoy to do. I also have other investment opportunities and other ways to make money besides just cash trading. My rates are going to be worth my time, but I've never really had a big issue with not being able to agree with people on deals, but as of lately, people don't know how to value their inventories anymore. And I have an all-time high. I've gotten the least deals done ever over the past couple weeks, even though my rates have not changed. I'm still offering people the same amount and the same rates and everything. But lately, people are strongly overvaluing their inventories, and it's due to stuff like this. It's due to Buff 163 being inflated. And the big thing here is obviously that the West doesn't have access to Buff 163 anymore. So as Buff 163 prices get inflated and people don't even have access to Buff 163, people continue to use Buff 163 prices as a way to gauge their inventory or item values when that doesn't even make sense. We can look at a couple examples of this real quick. You have the M4A1S Blue Phosphor factory new going for about $550 on Buff 163, but you go over to CS Float and you can see here one is listed for $533. So obviously I cannot offer you whatever percent buff when I'm going to have to sell it on Float, and you see what the prices are here. And guess what? There's going to be similar prices on Buff Market and GamerPay and every other Western market because Buff 163 is inflated. And this is for a couple reasons. Everyone knows, hey, the Steam marketplace is inflated because you're not using actual dollars. You're using Steam dollars. And by the time you pay a bunch of fees or do a bunch, jump through a bunch of hoops to actually convert it to dollars, that's going to take time, that's going to take effort, and that's going to take fees. So you're going to need to pay more to eventually get to a lower dollar amount. Well, guess what? That's what's happening with Buff 163 right now as well, because you can say it's RMB, but it's not actually RMB that you're getting when you're selling it, because if it was RMB, then I'd be able to, cash it out, withdraw it, do some exchange rate, and end up with dollars. No, it's closer to Steam dollars. It's closer to monopoly money that you're getting on Buff 163 than actual any real currency. Now, obviously, if you're in China, if you have a Chinese bank account, or you have whatever, ways to actually get it into some kind of feasible currency, hey, great, that's a different story. But for everyone else in the West that can never actually turn buff balance into dollars, buff balance is somewhat worthless and needs to have a discount or a premium on it or whatever, just like Steam dollars need to. Steam dollars can have a dollar sign on them, but they're not actual dollars. Buff balance can have an RMB signature on it, but it's not actually RMB, at least to people in the West. It's, like I said, closer to monopoly money, closer to Steam dollars. So Buff 163 prices and the dollar amounts you see listed are not even real dollar amounts. And you can see here this big discrepancy. This is something like a 4% difference, which is huge because, again, people are saying, oh, I'm offering a terrible rate because I'm offering 4 or 5% lower than they're expecting. But no, these are the actual cash prices. But Float is much closer to the actual dollar amount because guess what? In Float, I can actually withdraw real dollars very, very easily. And these are the prices that you're seeing. And this is not unique to the Blue Phosphor. This is all kinds of items. You have the USPS print stream here. You can see $93 on Buff 163 and, hey, 90.98 on Float. And again, that's like a 3% difference. You have something like the Dragon Lore, 10,008 factory new on Float. What's it going to be on Buff 163? It's going to be 11.3. This is something like a 4.5% difference. And then you have even stuff with a bigger difference. Sports Glove Vice Minimal Wear, 37.48 on Buff 163. And we can go over to Float and we can see 35.38. This is something closer to a 5 or 6% difference. So there's literally everything from 3 to sometimes 6, 7, 8% differences on these items. Yet people still, obviously, people who are owning the items, they want to go with the higher values. They want to go with the Buff 163 values, but that is not real life. That does not make sense. Your items are not worth the Buff 163 prices anymore. Your items, in terms of dollars, are not worth 100% buff. Maybe they were in 2023 or 2022 or whatever. At this day in June of 2024, your items are not worth 100% buff. I am sorry. The change from Buff 163 not being available in the West made everyone's inventories worth 3, 4, 5, 6% less, and that's just a fact. That is just the way things go. Now, obviously, on the flip side, the good part is you can buy items for 3, 4, 5% less. So if you're just getting into some new investments or starting an inventory or portfolio now or whatever, you have a chance to buy stuff lower. You have a chance to buy a little dip. But you can see on things like Esport Fire, I believe somebody said this is right when Buff 163 became unavailable in the West, and they had to start using different ways to track the prices. You can see there was a drop off. Inventory values in CS2 all items graph dropped off because things are worth less now. It doesn't matter what Buff 163 states the prices are or what prices are trading in China if no one in the West has access to that. And it doesn't make sense for you, someone trying to sell your items in the West or trying to get dollars for your items in the West, to be using Buff 163 prices to value your stuff. And this is a big thing going on. Like I said, in the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've had more people say that I am trying to rip them off or scam them or offer them an insulting offer than I have had probably in the previous year of cash trading combined. And it is all because people all of a sudden, with Buff 163 not being available to the West, don't know how to value their items in their inventories anymore. And I will admit, it is confusing. It is hard, but there's plenty of other people out there who are like cash traders and stuff like that. And not even that, just people in the industry talking about how this is a big issue. Like I said, there is this going on. China economy is improving, showing signs of hope. Lin Vision made to Copenhagen, Buff advertising their collab with them. There's reasons why the Buff 163 prices were going up. But like I said here, I think the biggest reason why we've seen the discrepancy is the fact that Buff currency is not easy to turn into dollars, which is going to inflate prices just like the Steam market. Other people saying everyone thought skins were going to drop because of the foreigner ban on Buff. They're actually rising. This proves that there was little to no influence we had there, which is just not true. Felipe is definitely just not right here. The amount of Chinese people who play this game just outweighs all of us by crazy margins. But this guy said, I think maybe is what happened is foreigners supplied more than they buy skins on Buff. So the estimate cut off about 30% of the users. It now leads Buff to a supply deficit, which increased prices more. So again, cutting out the West and cutting out so many Western cash traders who supply the Chinese buyers actually increased Buff prices even further. And again, that doesn't mean that the items are actually worth any more, especially in the West where we have a lot more sellers than buyers. Prices are going to be even lower. That doesn't make your items worth more just because that's what Chinese people are paying for them with RMB or Buff balance or whatever, when you want dollars for your items. Again, but basing prices off the Steam market or off Buff 163, when that's not dollars, that's not cash, does not make sense. And this is a big problem in the markets right now, and it's leading people to overvalue their items, overvalue their inventories, and just not really even have a good grasp on what has happened or why their inventory has dropped in price over the past couple of months. Again, I hope people over time will figure out and realize how to actually value their items' inventories and understand that your inventory and your items are not worth 100% Buff anymore. They're just not, because Buff is not dollars. So if you want to trade in Buff balance, sure, your stuff's worth 100% Buff. But guess what? $1 is not one Buff balance or whatever. Or 1 RMB is not even 1 RMB on Buff. It's just not, because you can't pay your bills with Buff balance. You can't go to the grocery store with Buff balance. You can't pay your rent with Buff balance. So until you can, you're going to have to start accepting that your portfolio or your investments or your inventory, your items or whatever are worth a little bit less than you think they do. Probably 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7% less. And yeah, hopefully we can get back to things making sense. Because like I said, I've historically not gotten deals done because, hey, I don't always offer the best rates or the best price or whatever. Like I said, that's partly by design, but I've never had so many people fail to get a deal done with me because they don't know how to value their items than just the past couple of weeks. And I haven't changed anything. So what does that tell you? I don't know. But this is a big problem in the market. This is not just a problem for me. This is a problem for a ton of people. And even if you're not looking to sell, even if you're not looking to sell to me, that's totally fine. I don't care. This isn't a video of me saying, hey, sell your stuff to cheap for me. I don't care if you do or don't. I would love to buy your stuff. Obviously, I would love to try to make a profit on it, whatever. But I just want you to know that your inventory is worth a little bit less than it was a month ago or when Buff, we had huge liquidity through Buff. Now that we don't, prices are going to drop. But pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you next one. Until then, peace. One more thing I just wanted to throw in real quick too. Buff did put out this. They said, we're recently upgrading our payment and more users no longer accepting Buff balance. So we recommend that you use your balance in your account as soon as possible. Pretty much telling you that Buff balance is going to go away altogether. So don't save your Buff balance. Spend it. Get your items off there. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Peace.